Hello, and good morning. All right, I'm going to do some makeup for the day. I'm actually, on my table is my full brand new clean, well, they're not brand new, they've been used for a while, but my clean brushes. I'll plug my phone in so that it doesn't fade away. Okay, so my brushes got washed last night, so I'm going to use I'm going to try and use every single brush for a makeup look, but we'll see. I mean, I feel like the only way that I'd be able to use every single brush for a makeup look is if I do something really, really dramatic, which I'm not sure I'm going to do. So I'm first going to do my brows. I'm just going to push my brushes back a little bit because they're kind of in my space. The first thing I'm going to do is my brows. I always let my brushes dry over a tabletop. I wash them. There's a video or reels on how I wash them. I'm not using my spoolie from my brush with Spectrum because it kind of... Lash glue doesn't mess it up, but it's really hard to wash out. So I'm just going to use something that already has lash glue in it. So I'm just doing my brows first and really pressing the hair up toward my hairline on my head. And you can see it just gives you a bit more of a, that kind of look. That like up, flat, open space brow. Just pushing it on and pressing it up. And you can even... If it starts to set, you can just dip another brush in some micellar water. Look how long that one is. It's so funny. You can dip another brush in some micellar water and sort of go through it. But essentially the first direction that you take is what they kind of stick to. So if you are going to try this trick, trying it with latex-free lash glue is key. Don't know why. Just know that that's people's preference. This one is from Kasha. And if anybody's wondering, my sweat set is from Claire V. Might be on sale right now, actually. And my headband is from Jennifer Bear. All right, so pushing this on, need a bit more. And this honestly is the part that takes me, it's not the longest, but you got to sort of set it right. You got to get the brow set in the right place so that then the penciling on of the brow hairs is easier. So for anybody wondering, that red halo underneath is from microblading. I tried it, wasn't for me. I do think it's great for people that want a no maintenance kind of brow moment. For me, it felt like it was just going to start building density, and I absolutely did not want that for my brows. Brow flick and brown. Oh, my brightness just changed. So first, I sort of sometimes flick in a few hair-like strokes at the beginning just to bring my brow a little bit more forward. Then I go in between all those hairs, like that. If you ever have any issues with a brow pen like this, whether it's Glossier or another, sometimes just wetting a paper towel and basically just pressing the tip of the pen into that paper towel can like get the flow going again. Because there is some instances where other products might clog the pen. So for the tail, I'm just bringing it a little bit down toward my ears. So I kind of start up and then I start bringing it down toward the top of my ear, and that's kind of my guide. And sort of stop about here. I want it to be quite short and full today, I think. Not super duper long. But it really takes me minutes. Might seem like it's complicated and takes a long time, but it really doesn't, so. And it is something that you've got to practice. Like, if I don't do it for a minute, like, I'm definitely a bit wobbly when I do it again, but it's like that with everything. It's like that with eyeliner, it's like that with red lipstick. The more that you do something on yourself, the better you get, obviously. But even makeup artists get shaky if they're not doing it too much, you know? So, never feel bad, because even the professionals have to practice things to stay good at them. And also our facial features change over time. So you can't, like with eyeliner, if you stop doing eyeliner for a year and then you start again, your eyes have probably changed. And so you need to relearn it completely. It's almost like you're doing it on somebody else. So I'm going to stop about here, but I'm going to take a product from this company called Refi. Now I'm going to take my brow brush, and I'm just going to sweep out a little bit. This is a brow pomade in brown. I'm going to start just shy of the front, work my way forward, and then just keep going back to my hand until I need to go back in the pot. It has a brush in the lid, but I much prefer this brush because it's more precise. And this is a double-ended spoolie with a really fine, pointy, very soft brow brush on it that you can create hair-like strokes with if you use the right product, as well as eyeliner. So I really wanted these brushes to be as multifunctional as possible because I feel like, there we go, that's a nice brow. Could go a little fluffier just there so it's not such a hard line at the top. It's better. I really wanted every brush to feel like you could use it for anything. That's why the brushes, I mean, Spectrum don't really name their brushes anyway. They're all numbered, I think. But I like numbering versus naming because a name might give you guidance of how to use it. However, I'm going to teach you how to use it. So I'm going to teach you how to use them. Basically, the more sort of names they have, the more limiting they will be. The more limit they might put on you as a creative. Whereas just a number is more of a, like, pick up number this, pick up number that, and use it for your lip. And then tomorrow, use it on your eye. So, basically, that's the reason. And just for any questions that anybody might have on the brushes, it's a 25-piece brush set. It will be £159 and the equivalent in dollars and so on and so forth. So the base, if you want to Google the price as a currency conversion, just put 160 sterling or 160 pounds and then convert it to wherever you are. It comes with a little cup holder situation, like a tube that you can put in your kit or you can put on your table. And it comes with a brush. It comes with a towel that you can buff your brushes into, like this, but different. It's green. And basically, I'm really excited. So we won't be doing a smaller sets up on launch. The launch is one full set, but I'm going to use. I have something in my eye. Excuse me, please. Sorry if anybody's freaky about eyes. We won't be doing smaller. We'll be doing smaller sets throughout the year. I think that, you know, we cotton round and my exfoliator. So the reason why it will be partially because honestly we didn't really plan for it in the beginning, because we just thought a full set is kind of what I essentially want people to be able to get ideally, the more brushes everybody's got, the more people can go along with the tutorials that I'm doing, right? And be able to really sort of follow along with the looks. However, the smaller set came up so much in a request sort of DM format that we said, okay, we will absolutely bring that product to life. We just want to, I think, see what brushes are people's favorites out of the full set before we consider making smaller sets out of the 25, because we'll essentially be taking these 25 brushes and breaking them up into two sets. It might be like an essentials mini set of a bit of face and a bit of an eye. It might be a small eye set and a small face set. I did wash my face yesterday, but I don't think I put makeup on yesterday. All right. Ideally, you would do that until your face comes up clean, but I'm working on the clock on a time crunch today. Brightening dark circle eye cream from Ren. So yeah, basically the smaller sets will be coming, not immediately, and it is a limited edition collection, and there'll be more to come on that. Okay, so a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna go for a little bit of the vitamin C serum from Summer Fridays. I haven't used this for a couple of weeks, so it had a little goo. Just a little bit. This gives me like an insane glow. And then, I think after that, I'm going to go for the Volition cream. Can everybody see okay? I feel like there's a little bit of a dullness to my screen, and it kind of, Instagram kind of like, or the phone preserves the energy. I'm dipping into a spatula. The phone preserves the energy and like dims the screen, so right now I can't really see myself that well. Yeah. So, moisturizer, because this is a gel moisturizer, I can pretty much put it over the whole entire face. I'm always pretty much going to my T-zone last because I don't want to oversaturate the T-zone with shine, because I know that's where I'm going to get glossier throughout the day anyway. So essentially, wherever you're going to get shiny throughout the day, put your moisturizer there last. That's just what I do. And obviously now finished with SPF. I don't have an SPF that I'm working with at the moment because I just haven't found one that I like yet under makeup. It is a work in progress and I'm not going to start using them. And I think SPFs are so specific that I'm just going to find the one that I like for a while before I start showing you what I'm using. So for my base, I'm going to use Morganite. Am I? So this is Samantha's new brand. I'm actually not going to use Morganite. I'm going to use Selenite. So this is basically a product that is like a shiny, glossy kind of textured situation. I'm going to use a big brush to apply it. This is my brush called number 2. And I'm going to sort of just start popping it on the high points of my face first, because it is a highlighting, glowy base product that essentially just gives you like this really radiant, insane shine, right? Somebody asked me in a DM format, a lot of people asked me actually, is it similar to Charlotte Tilbury's Hollywood Flawless Filter? You know, it is for sure similar. I actually was talking with Sam about it myself in a DM last night, and she just said, feel free to describe it how you like and feel free to compare it to whatever you want, which I actually thought was really, really smart from a brand founder's perspective, because there's no getting away from the fact that it is similar, and a lot of products are similar. Like, so many products on the market are very similar to one another. So there's plenty of room for everybody to play. There's plenty of, you know, space in the market and plenty of customers for people to have products that might have similarities to them, right? It's like a cream bronzer and a cream bronzer from 2 different brands could be very different. I would say the main difference between this one and the Charlotte Tilbury one, I'm not really sure how many shades this one from Auric comes in. I would say the difference is this is balmier. Like, this is, it's shinier and more wet looking. And it doesn't, I like both very much. I think it's first, like a brand perspective, like, which brand do you prefer to play with? Are you know, a fan of which brand are you a fan of type of thing? They are similar, but I think the difference is that this feels more balmy, whereas Tilbury feels more, actually, I have Tilbury right here. Tilbury feels more like, let's see if we can swatch both. So this is Samantha and this is Tilbury. Straight away, this feels more glossy and sheeny and a bit more intense. The texture is thicker and more emollient, whereas Tilbury's are lighter. So I would say, like, different skin types would go for a different product because of that. I would say more drier skin would probably be really great with the Auric, and more oily skin maybe. But, like, obviously somewhere in the middle, you could get away with both. So then I'm going to take a little bit of, this is my absolute sort of favorite full coverage foundation of the moment, and I'm going to take a different brush now. I'm really going to try and use all of my brushes in one go. So this is another brush which is called number 7, and I'm just going to use that as my concealer brush, foundation brush. Concealer and foundation to me are very much the same thing. I use them exactly the same as I would one another. I really use formulas different versus what the bottle says differently. Screw what the bottle says. Use the formula how you want to use the formula. Like, shop the texture, don't shop the name, you know? Don't shop the fact that it's a foundation and you're looking for a foundation. If you love the finish of a concealer and you want to use that concealer over your whole entire face, you can, because it doesn't mean that it's going to go doesn't mean it's going to not last you, longer, because you might use it differently, you know? Like, normally you would think a foundation would go over the whole entire face, but I use a foundation quite like a concealer. So this was for anybody that wonders, this is the Synchro Skin from Shiseido, and I wear the shade 220 Linen. And then what I'm going to do, put this brush aside. I'm going to put every single brush that I use over here so I know. I'm now going to take another brush. This is number 6, and I'm just going to take it into that foundation on the back of my hand and start pressing it into my brow area where I have that little red halo. Alright, so last night I slept with my Dyson fan on level 3, and I woke up with the driest mouth at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like that. It was terrible. So then I had to get up and come and sleep on the couch and open the door of the patio for the rest of the sleep. I won't be doing that again. Probably just don't point it at my head. So pressing it on, don't really blend it too much, just get it on and then you can blend it afterwards. Sometimes the more you let things sit for a minute, the more coverage you might get out of it. Okay, so just pressing it through, making sure that it's like, if you ever find that you get, you know, too much coverage on the lid or too much product and it creases, putting a little bit of pressure in the crease just to remove that excess is what I would suggest. And then any other areas that you want to apply coverage to. Okay, a little bit on my forehead, and we're going to pop this brush down. Another thing that I think, if you, just a little side note on the brushes, there will definitely be some content on like showing you every single one, but there's a few brushes in the kit that have similarities. So this one you could liken to this one, right? They're slightly similar. This one is fluffier and a lot denser. This one has a pinched ferrule. This one and where did it go? This one and this one are similar in the sense that they are small little fluffy blenders for the crease or for the lash line. This one's a bit longer and this one's a bit longer and more flat on the top. This one's pointier and shorter. You could absolutely, like, if you don't want a full kit of brushes, you could absolutely share this set with a friend and break it in half and have enough brushes to play with. The only thing that I would say, and then there's these two, for example, these two are basically a small and a large version of exactly the same thing. And then there's these two, small and a large version of the same thing. Actually, there's another guy that looks even smaller again. The only one that's going to be tricky is who gets the long liner brush and who gets the short liner brush, but that's just an idea. All right, wiping my hand on my towel. So I'm now going to move on to eye stuff. I think what I want to do, I'm just going to make sure I've got no creasing in there. Sorry, first step is lip balm. I'm going to use Summer Fridays. I love this lip balm. This is absolutely one of my favorite lip balms because of the sheen, as well as the fact that it smells amazing and it's not sticky. And every time I wear it, people are like, what's on your lip? They look beautiful. What should I do? I think I'm going to do like a wet look. Not a wet look. I think I'm going to, ooh. I think I'm going to do like a red halo eye. I think that would be nice. Like a reddish, beautiful. Maybe I'll use this palette. This is the Pat McGrath palette. I think it was a holiday exclusive. It is called the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity Palette. It looks like that. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to start with a color that is, I'll show you when I'm ready to pick up the color, but I've got my Fix Plus ready. This is like fully finished. I need a new one. And I'm actually going to take this flat brush, which is like a flat fluffy guy that can become fluffy if I want it to. And I'm going to go with, you can do like, oh wow. Oh yes, please. Okay. I'm going to go with this color at the bottom. It's kind of like one of those duochrome shifts. It's a little pink. It's a little green in there too. And I'm going to just spritz my brush and pick up, wait, people are saying to use Auric eyeshadows. Let me just see if I feel compelled to play with these tones. Oops. I think I'll do Auric eyeshadows on a direct day where I don't want to show more technical stuff because I feel like these are really easy to use, which is great. All right, so spritzing my brush. Make that water even and then just pick up a little of that color. And I'm just going to start light because I'm not sure what this is going to do. So I'm just going to start at the lash line, really pressing it in. It's a hair on my face. Okay. Wow. Bringing it up as I press it in. All right. So any metallic shadow or any shimmery shadow or any shadow with like a glittery finish will be awesome with a damp brush because you get a different effect. And now I'm not picking up any more water. I'm just going straight back to the eyeshadow because my brush is still wet. And essentially I want to go from quite damp of a brush to even drier of a brush and start building that sort of density Like, I want to build it. I want like a wet base underneath, essentially, that's going to make it go on really intense. And then just keep pressing on more and more colour as it starts to dry, the brush. Alright, and this has an undertone of like a black or a grey. You can see it at the perimeter of my eye shadow shape. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to take this little blendy friend and just start to buff the edges and see what we get. See how easy it is to move. Okay, nice. If you often find that you're trying to do a shape and it's hard to control the shape and the size of it, blend inwards versus outwards, because if you blend outwards, you'll often make a shape that you might not want to make. So by just bringing everything out from in, you're in control more. And I still live with my parents. Okay, blending that again with that brush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building this colour with the dry brush now. Same brush, this brush. So I'm just going to pick up and just keep packing on more until I get the intensity that I want. Wow, that actually went on even more amazing. Need a little compact. I don't know whether my screen is dark for anybody, but I can barely see what's on my phone screen right now. It's really frustrating. And I've tried everything. I've tried all the tricks. Pulling changing all the brightness of the phone. Okay, so see the way I'm blending here and it's pulling my skin and creating these lines? That's me blending improperly. So now I'm actually gonna take a larger brush. I'm gonna take this brush now. Just see if I can etch out that texture that I've created. Sometimes pressing it is good. This is such a crazy color. Can you see what it's doing? It's like pink but green but copper. I think I might pop a little bit underneath. I'm gonna use a smaller brush now. See, I'm doing all right at using all the brushes. Sometimes I just use, the only reason why I sometimes ever wouldn't use all the brushes on one face is just because of the amount of cleanup. But you actually could totally use that many brushes in one go. It's fully easy to do. So I'm just skimming around the entire perimeter of the eye now. Dry brush on this side. It's amazing actually how this color picks up dry really well. It's normally not the case with these duochrome shades. Normally they're better wet, but actually it's just as good dry. It's just as good dry. It's actually probably a bit easier to blend, but a lot of the duochrome shades that have like an undertone of black to them or gray, they'll have like a depth to them, which normally if you apply it on the back of your hand and then if you apply it to the back of your hand and then blend it out, you'll start to see like the undertones that live within that color, and therefore you'll know kind of how to react with it, how to manage it, how to manipulate the shade. Okay, so I'm using my small little dinky brush. We've got footy on in this house this morning. Liverpool, wait, are Liverpool playing right now?
No, they play at 11:30. You want me to turn this down?
No, it's fine. All right, my bigger brush that I blended everything with. Alrighty. And you really want to get like traction on the bristles so that you can really pull things around. Because if you don't, then like I'm using the bristles kind of against themselves, you see? Anyway. I'm really excited to see what people think of these brushes. Like, you know, we took a little inspiration from there's a lot of green in this eyeshadow. Like there's a green sort of muddy halo around the edge, which I'll fix with a bit of concealer in a bit. But there was a few bits of inspiration taken from pre-existing brushes with Spectrum. Like I was like, I love this brush from Spectrum, but I would want to make it more, you know, artist sort of, like give it an artist's kind of twist. My brush that I had my concealer in from earlier, I'm just gonna, there's a fuzzy hair in my eye. I'm just gonna take that now around the eye a little bit. So yeah, there's like some, you know, and with that being said, a lot of people asked, will there be individuals available for sale? There won't be, but I think what we could probably do is create a list of brushes that are available for individual sale, maybe on Spectrum, that you could access that would be similar to some of the brushes in my kit, maybe, as a sort of, as a, what's the word? This eye weirdly makes me look like I have a bleached eyebrow. It's really strange. All right, I'm going to take another color that doesn't have that duochrome kind of shift to it. And I'm hoping that this isn't going to be too deep, but I'm going to take a little bit of that plum there, and just pop it in the top. Just see what we get. Yeah, that's nice. Warmed it up a little bit. I need to get rid of that green halo because it makes me look a little bit like I've got a black eye. So yeah, we are absolutely we really want to accommodate everybody and make everybody feel like they can be included. But it is a limited edition set in a sense, so there'll only be a certain amount of times that the set will be ordered before we probably stop ordering more, but it will definitely be ordered again after the first drop, because we imagine it will sell out relatively fast. But if you don't manage to get it on the first go, then you'll probably be able to get it on the second or the third. Alrighty, so we'll just see how that like made everything a little better. Tiniest bit, and the softest blend. Also keeping my eye wide open because I want to be able to go between where my crease is and just above that, because if I don't, it's going to be hidden when I open my eyes. You know, anybody with a fold or a hooded lid or any kind of hindering shape, whatever it might be, essentially you always want to try and do a bit of the makeup or a lot of the makeup with your eye open so that you can understand where it might settle or where it might be when you are relaxed, as opposed to doing everything with your eye pulled to the right or to the left. And I say that, and everybody will have to do it differently. Like, you know, some people have a lid that comes all the way down to the lash line. You absolutely will have to close your eye just to get there, but then you can open your eye to go above the fold. Do you see the, you know, the technique, the trick? Yeah, this really helped bring it to life a little bit more. All right. So, I wish that my screen was brighter, but what are you gonna do? Now I'm gonna take my smaller brush that I applied that color with, neat, and I'm just gonna take it a little bit more precisely, the deep red, the matte plummy color, into that lash root. Oops. This is my like blendy friend. So this is my thing that I'm going to use to sort of blend edges when I really want to, you know, make everything really, really soft. So the brushes, again, just another quick one that's going to keep coming up. The brushes are available worldwide. Worldwide shipping is definitely a thing. Pre-order, I'm not sure. There might be like a pre-order link. There might be like a link that we can drop early. I'm not sure. We're still figuring out all of these logistics. I wish I could see my screen. It's okay. There is a sign-up sheet right now, actually, on my stories where you can sign up for the notifications. And essentially signing up for the notifications on the brushes is sort of right now the only plan for a pre-order type situation, because we want to be able to, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But essentially, if you sign up for the notifications, you'll get the notification when they drop and you can go order them. I don't think they'll sell out in like 5 minutes or anything. I mean, you never know, but I doubt it. Alright, so I'm just popping more of that down there. This is my savior color. This is my transition color, for lack of a better term. Because it's not really transitioning, it's more of a deepness. It's darker. All right, I'm okay with that. I can't see anything at all. Like, I can see what I can see in my mirror, but I'm always relying on my phone to kind of tell me what's happening. I'm going to play now with, let's just see what that looks like. Ooh, do I want a little of that in the mix? Nope, I don't like that. Pop that back over the top. I went back over with the colour. What about now we go with, what's this going to do? If you're ever not sure what something's going to do, swatch the colour on the back of the hand that is the primary colour in your eyes, and then swatch the colour that you're thinking about applying over the top and see what it does. Ooh. Kind of intrigued by that. I'm just gonna, no, stop. I'm buffing my brushes into my towel because it's my habit. But I'm gonna try a little bit of this kind of blue-pink shift. It's like one of those beetle colours in the inner corner and see what happens. Because we're just playing today. It's nice. Don't want too much on the top though. Putting a bit more of that red back in. It literally makes, oh, wrong colour. When the iPhone screen dims, I know I'm a broken record right now, it makes doing content so unenjoyable because I can't see anything. What are you gonna do? I mean, I can see a little bit, but I can't see enough. All right, I'm gonna take a concealer. I'm gonna go for the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer and the brush, which is gonna be called the number 10. And I'm just gonna start skimming that into any of these areas. Normally I would sort of clean up more, but I feel like I'm gonna be okay just to go straight in with concealer and sort of skim around these the edges. I think I need a little more of that colour. Excuse me. All right, that blue shift, the beetle kind of tone, I'm popping a bit more in there. That was better. Picking up my concealer again. And I'm just really carefully skimming it around the eye. Okay, let's see. Are we even-ish? Even-Steven-ish? Okay, pulling that out a little bit. I want to put a shade somewhere in the mix that's really highlighty. Let's just see what this does. This is this gold kind of tone. It might have an undertone. See the way it goes darker there? That's the most annoying thing to me about some eyeshadows or some highlighters is it might look bright, but then when you take it away from the bounce of the light, it looks darker. Do you see? Like there, it's bright, but then there, it's a shadow. It's one of those things. And it's actually something, I'm developing a product of my own, and that's something that I'm absolutely trying to be adamant about that doesn't happen. I need a little bit more concealer to just cut that a little bit because it's cut on the other side. That was too much. If anything ever is too much or too hard, just be really delicate when you blend it and then go in with a clean brush to blend the edges again. Where's the brush that I want to clean? This one. All right, that's fine. I'm going to do mascara. I'm going to go with Upswing from... What color is that? Oh, wow. See? Shiny and light, almost looks like a bright gold. Green, gray, brown. Like it's amazing. It's not a knock to the palette. It's just something that happens with certain things. I'm not going to change this eye. This is Upswing from Bite. All right. It's really funny. I love playing with like really smoky eyes now that I have a fringe. It's not something that I used to like do super like, well, I guess I used to a lot, but I kind of stopped and started doing more like softer things on the eyes for a while. Whenever a mascara is too new or too wet, just pump a little air into it. This is the only instance where I would say that you should do that. It's just to get it going. But yeah, with a fringe, smoky eye stuff is great. Smokier the better. I had the weirdest dream last night that I needed to use a public bathroom in like France. It was such a weird dream. And I had to go in and wear like a cloak over me completely because there was security cameras in the toilet stalls. Is that not the weirdest dream ever? Okay. My nose is a little runny today. I really thought my phone would have brightened up by now, but it hasn't. I kind of like the little mascara transfer. And that if you let it dry for a sec, or actually if you hit it with a fan, you can then layer on more. Because in my opinion, when you're gonna go for a bold lash, just fucking go for a bold lash. Just go for it completely. All right, so I'm gonna do a bit of bronzer. Let's go for, I'm gonna go for something that I can layer powder over easily. So I'm just gonna go for Bronzino. This is from Tower 28. It's called Bronzino. It's like a really nice, kind of glossy, creamy bronzer product. But when you apply it sheerly with a brush, I'm going to apply it with this brush, which is a duo fiber angled brush. I'm just going to start taking it into this sort of hairline, down into the cheekbone. When you apply it really sheer, you can totally put powder over it by just setting it lightly and then putting powder bronzer over the top. And this comes in this shade and a darker shade, and it's nice. The formula's cool. It's like a glossy bronze type product, and it's not really glittery. It does have a sheen. I think there's a big difference between glitter and sheen. A big difference. I think a lot of people might think a sheen or any kind of like sparkle particles, even if they're tiny, could be deemed as glittery. I get it, but I don't think it is. I think glitter is big and chunky pieces of glitter, and anything beyond that is just pearl. Anything smaller than that is just pearl and mica. Okay, popping it under my jaw. All right, a little over the nose. And then a blush colour, I might just go for, I've got a lipstick palette here that is from Kryolan. It's like a little tiny thing, but I'm actually going to use it as my blush. I think I'll go for this colour right here. Might be a bit too sheer. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's perfect. I'm going to use a different brush again. I'm going to use this brush this time. This I press this to dry flat, but I'm just going to break up the way that it's set and then pick up. This is the number 3 brush. For like a little glossy mauve-y cheek. So then maybe I won't be going over this with powder because this is too sticky to go over with powder, in my opinion. I like to pull blush a little bit into this zone here because that slight, again, back to the thing that's even colours that seem bright might have a little bit of a shadow in it on fair skin. I want that little bit of a shadow in my cheekbone here, in the hollow, because when I talk it will be more pronounced. Is this a lip shine? Yeah, it's a lip product. What's this color gonna do? This is a gold. Popping a little bit of this gold in the mix just to see. Oh, right. What next? What next? What next? I need to just look at this. 1 second. All right, I'm going to take this brush, which is just like an angle, like a flat lip brush or whatever brush you really want it to be, but there's a little fiber on my face. And instead of using your fingers to get it off, use a brush or a tweezer or something, because you'll pull away this stuff. And then because this brush is quite rough and tough in the way that it applies, because of the edge, I'm just using it to get rid of any bits around my eye that I don't like from my mascara transfer. And then that's that brush. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Do I want to put a little of this in the mix? I feel like I do. This is this like light. This is this like this is the color I've used the most in the palette for sure. I'm going to use my other fingertip because it helps for me to make sure that the placement is the same. So you can absolutely be a little ambidextrous when you show how I blow my nose with makeup on. I honestly wouldn't blow my nose. I would just have these like biodegradable cotton wipes, which I don't know. I literally never use them anyway, but I think I would just press. I'm like grabbing the like part of my nose that like would be pierced. And I'm just blotting. And then I would essentially just use a bit of concealer back in that area where I'd removed from pinching the skin. But if you do need to blow your nose, then you need to blow your nose. And then you just reapply the concealer. I mean, or you just don't use too much heavy coverage foundation around that area on a day where you have a cold. I don't know. Or you use something super long wearing that's never going to budge. Like Double Wear from Estee Lauder. All right. What's then my next step? Lip. I'm going to really try and not use Endless Cacao for anybody that wants to hear that sweet song. Because, you know, I love Endless Cacao, but sometimes... No, I don't want Morocco. I want Tanzania. This is a British brand called Emoline. This is a shade called Tanzania. Checking that I don't have anything flying out of my nose. So I'm getting rid of the saliva by going like this. I'm blotting my lip balm. So that my lip is prepped for lip colour. However, one thing that you can do if you feel like it is use your brush that had your concealer in it. And just neutralise it a little bit more. You know what's funny? My eyeshadow looks pretty blended like right now when I'm just relaxed looking into a mirror. But then when I go like this and start not showing it off but stretching it, starts to like put all these different light sort of this ambient light into the mix. And it's funny because it like can throw you off a little bit, but don't be thrown off by it. Also, if something looks unblended straight on, just turn your head a little bit and see if it still looks unblended, because sometimes it's the lights. feel like I need to have like a moderator on a live that can type everything out that I'm using for everybody, and then like that would be a good feature for Instagram, to like allow someone to moderate and pin the products that you're using. Maybe it already exists and I'm just unaware. Again, this pencil is called Tanzania, from a company called Emmeline. And it's quite waxy in a good way. It means that you can use it as a full lip colour. Would you all like a swipe up link of everything that I've used in this look after? So if I want to blend this lip and make it a little softer, I'm just going to take a little brush, number 11, and just even it out a little bit. My lip line is lower on this side and higher on this side, so I'm actually just going to try and lift this up. Love is a highway. Also, blending the lip edge always looks better in my opinion than leaving it left. Sometimes leaving it left alone can look a bit too done. Blending it just makes it look a bit more cool and relaxed. See how that just evened it out a little bit? I'm going to put, because I use this palette, I'm actually going to take this colour. Again, this is the Lip Shine Circle from Kryolan. And I'm just going to take a little of this shade, pop it on my fingertip, and then I'm going to pick it up with a brush. Ooh. Oh, that's opaque. Oh my god, that's a lot. Oh my god. Oh no. Trust the process, trust the process. Trust the process, just keep going, don't panic. See, it's better now. It's just very shiny. I actually love like a metallic nude. I think it's so cool. It's like it's a bit 80s. And actually Spectrum make a metallic red, which I love. And I love to layer one of their nudes over it. So there is one idea that we had. I'll tell you a little bit about one of the potential activations that we would have with the launch of these brushes. Me and Lowry, the PR girl at the brand, who's amazing, and we just like totally gush over Friends every time we speak, and we basically talk in Friends language. Her and I the other day were discussing like, activations that we could do around the launch, and one thing that came up was, what about if on top of the brush set there was a limited supply of a set featuring a few Spectrum color cosmetics items, like maybe an eyeshadow palette, maybe the mascara, maybe something eye related, and then you get to buy the brush set with a slightly discounted price on some of the products probably that would come in this brush set, and then that set be also a class, like a Zoom class, and it would be limited supply of those, like maybe 20 or 30 of them maybe, because I don't know how many people would be able to realistically get on a Zoom, but I just thought it could be a really nice idea of like, instead of doing like a big press event where the editors get to do a masterclass with me, what about if it's something that is built into the price of the brushes, inclusive of some color cosmetics? So it would be more than the £160. I don't know what it would be yet, but I'm just putting my lip liner back in. It would be more than the like flat rate for the brushes, because it would also include color cosmetics, but it would probably be like a deal somehow. I actually really love this lip. And then again, just reblending it. I'm almost done. When you're using brushes to blend lips or anything, just watch the shape of the brush as you're blending it. Don't blend over here with the brush like this, because this is what will happen. You'll start to take the lip color out to the side. So just be mindful of that. All right, use the brush exactly in the same angle as the lip. Did I just use a different colour lip line? No. All right, I'm going to do a little powder because I do want to start building in a little bit more stuff. And I'm going to use Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin in Y215 with the flat foundation brush. So I actually love this brush more so for powder than I do foundation, because it really works as like a blotting tool. Kind of blots all the shine away that you don't want. But you can use it for a foundation brush if you like foundation brushes like this. I just typically don't love foundation brushes like this, but I always have brushes like this in my kit. Like I wanted this set to be very much a makeup artist. Makeup artists would like love it, and non-makeup artists would be able to use it and understand how to do everything. But again, that's where education comes in, so it's important. I'm just pressing it lightly, so I'm taking the bulk of the product off in the T-zone, and then just slowly bringing it elsewhere. And again, I'm going to go for a decent amount of powder because there's still a lot of shine. I just don't want the shine, like the majority of it, to be around my nose and my inner corner of the eye. I want to be the only one to hold you. Did you know that Luther Vandross had one of the most incredible breathing techniques from any musician ever? One of my friends once, who is a classically trained singer, I was like gushing about an artist, and he was like, yeah, but are they as good as Luther Vandross? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, listen, if you listen to a Luther Vandross song, you will very, very, very rarely hear him go, never. It's like one of the funnest things to try and do, because you're like, let's listen, let's see if he does it. He never goes. I'm going to take a larger brush now. This is my number 1 brush, and I'm just going to take it and just press it over that bronzer because I do want to apply a little powder. It's really fascinating when you realize. And then now when you know to listen for a breathing technique, you will hear it. So I may have just ruined music for you for all of time. No, I'm kidding. It's not possible. All right, I'm going to use a powder bronzer. I'm going to use NARS Vallarta. It's actually spelt Vallarta, but pronounced Vallarta. With another brush. This is the angled brush that is not duo fiber. And I'm just going to start skimming that over the top of that powder. So I want to set with the powder first because the powder is colorless, right? I mean, it's not, but it's the same color as my skin tone. Whereas if I went straight over my very balmy, dewy skin with this, it might have like impacted in a negative way. So we don't want that. We want to be able to control what the payoff is. And again, like I'm always applying powder quite lightly and delicately, whether it's bronzers or setting powders or what, because I always want to have the option to kind of go back in with concealers if I feel like it. Would you say this eye is purple? I don't know. I don't wash my brushes after every use, for anybody that's wondering. I wash my brushes when they really, my work brushes that go in my kit, 1000%, of course. Like you can't not do that ever. If you ever have a makeup artist that uses dirty brushes on you, that's not okay. So, the one thing I would say, I use my own judgment for myself. Like if I've got breakouts, I'll probably be a little bit more consistent with it. If I'm not really breaking out, I'll probably be a bit lazier. But the point of time of which I absolutely do, I'm going to use a little bit of this in my eye socket area. The time of which I do start to clean my brushes is when I'm like at the point of no return with my pigment in the brushes. So if the brushes won't really do anything else for me based on what's in them, like for example, yesterday, before I washed them, this was completely red with matte lipstick, so I can't obviously really use that again without properly washing it. I also do sometimes do like a quick bath where I like brush them into like a solution on a towel sometimes, but proper wash probably every week. I didn't use every single brush, but I didn't do liner, so obviously there's an instance where you might not. I'm just using this bronzer to blend everything a little better. Finally it's happened me. So I think we're almost about done. I'm just going to put a little bronzer on the tip of my nose there. A little under the lip. And then again, like the more that you build that bronzer into the sort of areas where you've got shadow and things, the more that it can start to look even better. And you know, I think a makeup look is never really done until you feel, I don't think a makeup look is ever done until you've like really gone back and forth a few times with a few different things that you've already done. Like by just by just sort of doing something and then leaving it and never coming back to it. I feel like it can always look better by going back into the mix later on, because things settle, things like become less bold. I do want to do one thing though. I can just actually use the brush that I started with. Where did it go? I'm just going to use this brush. I'm going to just look at it in a compact. This is nice. I'm okay with this. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way this turned out. I pretty much used as many of my brushes that I could. I think the one more brush that I will use is this one. And I'm going to use it in a way to redefine my beauty marks. So this is the brush that comes on the end of the Refi thing, but I don't like that brush for the width and the density that it has. But I like this small little... And you could even use this in your brows. You don't have to use the angled brush. It doesn't really matter. It's fully a preference. But this brush is actually nice because it gives you a shadowy look versus a lined kind of brow. Does that make sense to everybody? I think I'm about right. I'm just going to use one more little thing. Sorry, I'm sniffling. I don't know what's going on with me today. Maybe it's because I slept with the fan blasting in my face last night and I'm getting a cold because of it or something. Finally, it has happened to me. I'm going to use my concealer brush because this is the closest to... I almost gave you a big spoiler. Almost. I almost showed you something that was still cooking. So this is something I've been affectionately calling Secret Sauce, but apparently there's a product on the market called Secret Sauce by It Cosmetics, so I'm not going to affectionately call it Secret Sauce anymore, nor would I call it that when it launches. But I am working on a product. It is quite different to a lot of things on the market than what you might think it is. So when I'm ready, I will reveal all. When it's ready, I will reveal all. But it is something for the people. It's for you. Might just be a little cheeky. Have I been on for an hour? I'm not sure. She is an 80s. She's a something. Woof. This fringe is long. But see how like a fringe just looks so cool with a smoky eye? Actually, I'm just going to do one quick thing, which is use my tail comb. Where did it go? It's upside down. So if you have a fringe that's too long, you could actually just back comb the root a little bit so that it stands up.